So I'm going to be talking about the chapter 3 of the Gibbons text. It was primarily focused on group work for language learners by providing more opportunities for language learners to interact with more speakers. Hopefully that's going to increase their language use. Um, it is going to take more time because they have to formulate their words, their thoughts, but it allows them to take more responsibility for clarifying their ideas and learning the material, and it also helps contextualize the language rather than just using words because they've heard them. Uh, also, comprehension is increased. The role of the teacher, or rather my role in group work, is that I need to make sure that my instructions are well defined and very clear. I need to make sure that I scaffold instructions so that I can provide clean and explicit directions. One of the ways that Gibbons talks about making sure that the instructions are clear and explicit, not just from my own opinion, is by asking a student to repeat the instructions and then to write down the instructions and then demonstrate or model through some sort of game or activity. And so in the planning stages, I'm going to need to make sure that I come up with some sort of game or activity. The reason why these are good is because these steps all go ahead and amplify the language, which is nice. I think sometimes I can think that it simplifies the language by kind of breaking it down a little more than I think is appropriate. And it's good to know and read that that's incorrect, that that's not true. So Gibbons goes on and talks about how group work requires talking, which in some ways is common sense, but it provide one of the things I want to do is provide information gaps because students need to acquire information from one another in that way rather than having all the information themselves. Giving pair activities allows them to talk with one another to try to solve a problem. And also, by assigning different projects to different students, I can make students their own experts, give students an ownership, and it requires students to be explicit as they are explaining their ideas and their topic to one another. Another thing that needs to be explicit is the outcome that's expected. Because by making the instructions explicit, I'm allowing students to understand the purpose and the reason for having them complete the activity. The task should be cognitively appropriate, so that way it's not going over their heads, but at the same time I'm not going ahead and trying to dumb things down, so that students. I want students to feel respected, and so the task should be high challenge with high support, and that way I'm supporting language development to the best of my ability, and scaffolding, which Gibbons points out is not just kind of okay, but can be the difference between success and failure. So I want to make sure that I am involving everyone. Structure should kind of require for this the way that the activities are structured, and the group should encourage individual responsibility. So if there's a group of 4, what that would look like is each member has a very specific role in that group. But the group work does have to be a learned task. It's not intuitive. But as a conversation during some of the first initial group activities in the class, we go ahead and we model what appropriate group work is, and we make that type of behavior explicit. We can have a lot better chance of success than if we just kind of go ahead and say, okay, you can do whatever you want in this project. And so, yeah.